Collaborative decision-making, or CDM, is a procedure developed by Eurocontrol that allows airports, airlines, ground handlers, and air traffic control to make decisions on the basis of sharing consistent and accurate flight and turnaround information. CDM is similar to the TomTom HD traffic system. Users of this system share information on the current traffic situation, which information then helps each individual user to make the best possible decisions. Together, users can then make optimum use of the entire road network. CDM is also based on the key principle of information sharing. Each user shares his or her knowledge with other users in the chain, who can then apply this knowledge to their advantage. The optimum utilization of aircraft stands, pushback trucks at the aircraft at exactly the right moment, and effective runway planning without any wasted takeoff slots. Introducing CDM, Collaborative Decision Making. As you know, Air Traffic Control the Netherlands, KLM, Amsterdam Airport Schiphol, and KNMI already work together closely in the area of operational planning. The parties meet 4 times a day to discuss the planning schedule based on runway capacity and weather forecasts. Thanks to CDM, all parties now have access to this crucial information 24 hours a day. The CDM Airport View continually displays the weather forecast for the next 7 hours, the current weather situation at operational runways, and the latest runway capacity predictions. The most important aspect of CDM is the timeline. CDM is based around 5 key milestones for each flight, which determine the arrival, turnaround, and departure process. These milestones have the same significance for each party and are used and shared by all. The first milestone is the estimated landing time, or ELDT. An expected landing time is determined for all flights to Schiphol. 1 day before the actual flight, this time is set as the scheduled arrival time. Once the aircraft has departed, the central database gathers information from the cockpit and the various air traffic control centers along the route. This information is then used to determine this ELDT with greater accuracy. Once the aircraft enters Dutch airspace, Air Traffic Control the Netherlands determines the ELDT. This information is available through the CDM portal for the duration of the operation and is highly accurate. This allows for the accurate scheduling of manpower and equipment. After landing, the aircraft taxis to the allocated aircraft stand, or VOP. Under the original system, calculations were based on a standard taxi time of 8 minutes. CDM now uses realistic taxi times based on, among other things, the runway, allocated aircraft stand, and the runway configuration in use at that time. The best ELDT and realistic taxi times also yield an optimal EIBT, or estimated in block time. The EIBT offers the most accurate prediction of the moment the blocks are placed under the wheels. The EIBT is the second milestone in the CDM process. A reliable EIBT will allow gate planners to schedule aircraft stand utilization more effectively. It will also enable all ground handlers to deploy their staff and equipment more efficiently. Staff will arrive at the gate on time and will not have to wait around needlessly. As home carrier at Schiphol, KLM transports a high percentage of transfer passengers. Knowing exactly when passengers and baggage leave the aircraft will allow the airline to determine even better whether passengers will make their transfer connection. KLM can then use this information in its communications to passengers and the baggage transport process. Single flight disruptions can cause gate planning conflicts. As a result, arriving flights may be forced to wait with their engines running, and last-minute gate changes may have to be made. CDM will help reduce such incidents. As soon as a conflict arises, the portal issues a clearly visible gate conflict alert to all parties. This will allow gate planning to change the gate sooner, help the ground handlers to plan their handling processes, and ensure more effective use of aircraft stand capacity. The end result will be fewer disruptions during taxiing, the reduction of CO2 and NOx emissions. Once the aircraft is on the blocks, the turnaround process begins. The main ground handler, KLM Ground Services for example, is obliged to predict as early as possible in the process when it expects ground handling to be completed. This is known as the Target Off-Block Time, or TOBT. This represents the third CDM milestone. The handling agent will then continue to adjust the TOBT based on the progress of the turnaround process. In order to prepare startup planning, air traffic control must receive accurate and up-to-date TOBT data from the main ground handler. The air traffic control system uses each TOBT to generate a target startup approval time, or TSAT. The accuracy of the TOBT determines that of the TSAT. The TSAT is the fourth milestone on the CDM timeline. The TSAT is the time scheduled by Air Traffic Control the Netherlands when an aircraft is granted permission to start its engines. The first TSAT is released well before takeoff. When the pilot requests startup, the startup controller in the tower will inform the pilot of the exact startup time. This time is based on the current situation on the ground and in the air. Very good afternoon. Its effects on the TSATs of subsequent flights are automatically processed by the air traffic control system. If TSATs are accurate and can be adjusted on time, scarce takeoff slots will not be wasted due to deviations in the turnaround process. The ground handler can optimally deploy his pushback equipment, as pushback trucks will no longer have to wait unnecessarily. In addition, Air Traffic Control the Netherlands will be able to determine an accurate target takeoff time. The TTOT, or Target Takeoff Time, is the fifth CDM milestone. This is the time the departing aircraft actually takes off from the runway. Due to the continual updating of all CDM processes at Schiphol, the aircraft will depart at its scheduled TTOT. The end result is optimal runway utilization and fewer delays in the event of a disruption. Once the aircraft has taken off, Schiphol is no longer involved in the CDM process. However, Schiphol is part of the broader European airspace. If we provide more accurate predictions of actual takeoff times, or TTOTs, air traffic controllers around Europe will be able to schedule their processes more effectively. This will help minimize the loss of slots and reduce the number of delays in the European airspace. CDM has already proven its benefits at various other major airports. Amsterdam Airport Schiphol, Air Traffic Control the Netherlands, KLM and the Schiphol Airline Operators Committee are all working together to share reliable information. The end result is a more effective utilization of each party's capacity and a smoother process with as few disruptions as possible.